Hi guys, Corporal6 here, and in this showdown video we're going head to head, M4A1 versus AK-15. There's a lot of debate around these two weapons, and it seems everyone has their opinion on what's better. So how about we take a closer look and find out? Both of these weapons are fairly common as world spawns and remain incredibly popular. They're both equally versatile in terms of attachments, taking muzzle, grip and stock attachment variations. Here's a quick overview of the AR attachments. The AR compensator offers a reduction in horizontal recoil by 10% and vertical recoil by 15%. It also reduces bullet spread by 10%. This is less reduction in recoil than the SMG compensator that you may remember from my previous videos. The AR flash hider offers a reduction in horizontal recoil by 10% and vertical recoil by 10%. It does not reduce bullet spread, but it does reduce the muzzle flash, and it's identical to the SMG flash hider in this respect. The grips and stock are all the same as on the SMG. I won't go through all the detail here, you can check out my previous videos for that, but be aware that the main difference is that the vertical grip reduces vertical recoil and the triangular grip reduces horizontal recoil. The flash hider starts to play more of a role when we're talking about ARs due to the longer effective range of the weapon. It's sometimes better to have better concealment if you're taking single shots at range to reduce the chance of your enemy or their team seeing you. However, let's wait and see which is the best combination in use, as it may not be as obvious as you think. Now let's compare the weapons themselves. Some of you have asked me to use the level 2 vest as the baseline comparison, so I'll be including that too. The M4A1 has a rate of fire of 700 rounds per minute and a damage per second of 513.3. Bullet damage against an L1 vest is 26.4 and an L2 vest 19.8, meaning you'd need 4 hits against an L1 vest but 6 against an L2 vest. The damage drop-off starts at 60 meters. The AK-15 has a rate of fire of 620 rounds per minute but a damage per second of 527. Obviously, this means it must do more damage per bullet. Against an L1 vest, it's 30.6 and an L2, 22.95, meaning you need 4 hits against an L1 vest and 5 against an L2 vest. The damage drop-off starts at 100 meters, so it remains effective for slightly further, but does that damage difference matter against the L2 vest? Combining the rate of fire and bullet damage, we can compare the time to kill. The time to kill for the M4A1 against the L2 vest is 0.51 seconds, and the AK-15 is 0.48 seconds. So even with the slightly slower fire rate, the AK-15 makes the most of the additional damage per bullet with a slight advantage of 0.03 seconds. The time to kill against the L1 vest is actually a 0.05 second advantage to the M4A1, just for reference. So it looks like the AK-15 is the choice then, right? Well, we haven't compared usability yet. So let's do the usual recoil comparison and see if there's a significant difference between the two. So looking at this in isolation, the first thing to note is that the stock makes very little difference except for a slight reduction in vertical recoil. Once again, it turns out we don't need to worry about it as much as you might think. The next thing to note is that the best overall recoil pattern seems to emerge when we put the flash hider and the triangular grip together, not the compensator as you may have expected from the SMG videos. Okay, let's check out the AK-15. Right, so immediately we see that the slower rate of fire makes the recoil appear more jumpy. But in effect, I think it's exactly the same, just spread out slightly more vertically. Also, very strangely, the compensator seems to be back on form with the AK-15. It really seems like the compensator and the triangular grip have the better outcome here. Now let's compare them alongside each other. For the sake of simplicity, I've done a comparison only without the stock, as it doesn't seem to be adding much advantage and means you can make a decision even if you haven't yet found one in game. Well, if we're looking for a clear winner here, we're out of luck. Both weapons are very comparable in terms of recoil. The M4A1 just has the edge on the overall vertical recoil movement, but that's about 1 bullet's worth, so it's essentially nothing. As we saw with the SMGs, sometimes adding attachments makes the gun behave more erratically than just the base version. But clearly, if you've got a triangular grip, it doesn't matter much else in terms of the recoil control, as it all becomes very manageable. Conclusion so far? Well, it looks like we need to take in some external factors. Both bullet types seem abundant throughout the game, and I very rarely find myself short of either type. So what other weapons run 5.56mm ammo? The immediate one that comes to mind for me is the Remington R700. Although similarly, on the 7.62mm ammo front, you've got the Mosin Nagant. Both are fairly similar in usage, so no real difference there. What about DMRs? Well, you have the MK12 versus the G28 and FAL-G. Both the latter are stronger weapons, and with there being 2 of them, it's more likely you'll find one, so that's actually better for the 7.62 side of things. The only real difference I can see is the AUG. That's a very desirable weapon and runs 5.56mm ammo. There isn't an equivalent on the 7.62 side. Given that these are more prevalent in the game now with the inclusion of the high loot zone, it might be worthwhile keeping that in mind. Although, if you loot one from an enemy, you can probably just adjust your entire loadout to suit. This just isn't obvious, is it? Okay, let's recap. The M4A1 has a better time to kill against level 1 armour, but is beaten by the AK-15 later in the game where you're more likely to come up against level 2 armour. The M4A1 runs on 5.56 ammo, so you're set if you find an R700 or an AUG, but the AK-15 has more options for DMRs. So, what to recommend? It's a tough one, but I'm going to take the weapons in isolation and give the crown to the AK-15. Based primarily on that time to kill against level 2 armour. It's just going to be that slight edge late in the game where 1 bullet difference in that fraction of a second can make all the difference to the outcome. It's a shame, as I personally love the way the M4A1 looks and feels to use, and actually really wanted it to be the better of the two, but there's no denying the facts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. In the next video, we'll be looking at sniper rifle bullet drop, as that's been bothering me for a while. As always, please let me know if there's anything you'd like me to include, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.